you're like me, you can't wait for the holidays because I love holidays.
Who doesn't?
That's right. But then I think, oh no, I'm going to gain another 5 pounds. Like, remember the last time I had too many drinks, the sugary drinks? I love hot chocolate. I love pumpkin spice lattes. I love peppermint mochas. I mean, who doesn't love those drinks?
Yeah, it starts with the pumpkin spice, and then we move into Thanksgiving, and then it's Christmas, and it goes from like bad to worse with the weight gain. So today we want to talk all about how you can lose 10 pounds this holiday season instead of gain it. Woo! Today, we're going to share with you our best 3 things that you need to be doing if you actually want to lose weight this holiday season instead of gain it. And we're going to dive right in. So why don't you go ahead and tell them the first thing?
Okay, tip number 1, make sure that you have the self-control to say to yourself, you're only going to have your allotted amount of sugar intake every day throughout the holidays. Now, you might think, oh, then I can't have that peppermint mocha. Well, maybe you can, but you can only choose one thing. Okay, so you're in a normal living, we're only supposed to have between 25 and 30 grams of sugar per day.
Now, that doesn't mean much to many people because we have no idea how much sugar we're actually consuming day to day.
But we're cooking cookies and cakes and squares and all this stuff for the holidays, and also going for all those sugary drinks. So just for an example, one ginger snap cookie has between 20 and 25 grams of sugar in one cookie. Okay.
Yeah. That's like your whole day's worth in one small cookie.
So if you want that ginger snap cookie, and it's not a giant one, we're not talking the giant one. We're talking a regular one that you would make at home, ginger snap cookie. If that's what you're deciding to choose for that day for your sugar intake, then enjoy it.
Exactly. But stop there. And, speaking of all of the sugar, you got to watch the other things as well, not just the sweets, because there's sugar in so many more things than we think. Like almost everything we eat contains sugar, and 25 to 30 grams is how much total sugar we should be having per day, including things like fruit and including your drinks. But if you actually want to lose the weight over the holidays, you have to monitor how much sugar you are consuming. And not to mention, that's good for your health anyway. Like, throw the weight loss aside, our bodies are not designed to handle the crazy amounts of sugar that we are regularly consuming.
That's right. So think about that. That's another tip.
Yeah.
Pre-decide what you're going to have every single day in the holidays for your sugar allotment. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then just be happy that you get to have one thing and enjoy that one thing. Take time to savor it. Don't gulp it down.
Exactly. And that can be tough, especially if you are at Christmas parties all the time where there's like elaborate buffets and crazy dessert tables. Take your thing, put it on a plate, walk away and grab a glass of water.
That's right.
And then stay away from the desserts.
Because you don't want to go, ugh, I gained 5 pounds. No, this holidays, you're going to lose the weight. Okay?
Exactly. So tip number 1, monitor how much sugar you are consuming and keep it to that 25 to 30 grams per day. And you know what, when you're doing that, this is a mindset thing. You have to come up with a way to not feel like you're in the pity party because you're not having all the things that everybody else gets to have.
Just be happy that you're not going to gain the weight, because that's something to celebrate.
Exactly. Because you're actually making decisions that align with your goals. So you know what, it's something to celebrate, not be down in the dumps about. So
before we go on to tip number 2, if you like what you're hearing, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and maybe make a comment about, you're going to decide.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's tip number 2?
Tip number 2 is all about portion control. Okay. And we told you these were going to be really practical tips. We know these are not easy tips, especially in the holiday season when the food is everywhere. Abundant. That's a perfect word. But we don't want to become more abundant in our bodies over the holiday season, right? So portion control is our second tip. And we're going to give you what our guideline is for starchy foods, because I think that's where most people get caught at the holidays. If you think about starchy foods, like I'm going to lump like sugar into that too, like cookies and cakes and stuff like that. But for starchy foods, we're more talking like potatoes, rice, bread, pasta, all those things. That's often what we end up filling our plate with. And that's not helping us lose weight. Now, we don't believe in eliminating food groups because that's just not a way that, you know, people can live. It's not sustainable. But if you want to lose weight, you got to do something different. And so monitoring your portion size is what you have to do. So how much do we recommend?
So we recommend a half a cup of like potatoes or rice or pasta. Now you might think, oh, that's not too bad. Or you might think, that's it.
And we're going to say, that's it. That's it. And that's if you're wanting to lose weight. So losing weight is different than maintaining. Okay.
That's right.
If you want to lose, half a cup is
it's still enough to enjoy whatever
Yes.
you're having. A half a cup of rice, that's what I had for dinner last night. And I actually measured it out.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do during the holidays. Measure it out, because otherwise a half a cup pretty soon becomes a cup.
Yeah. Or if you think, oh, I can just eyeball that, eyeball it and then put it in a measuring cup and see how off you actually are. I have done that.
Yeah.
And like literally eyeballing it is usually double at least.
That's right.
So actually measure your food. Now, if you're out at a party, you can't like whip out your measuring cup and, you know, measure out at the buffet. But
So if you're at a party, like try about one big tablespoon, like a heaping tablespoon, and that's about a half a cup.
yeah. So
So there you go. That's tip number 2.
but I was going to say about being at a party or something like that, like before you go to the party, like you often know, okay, the party's next week. Well, in the week leading up, measure out a half a cup so that you kind of know what it looks like.
Yeah,
And
do it more than once.
yeah, exactly. And you will kind of get a visual representation of how much that looks like that will help you.
Yeah.
And so when you're out at an event or at somebody's house or whatever you're doing, you can eyeball it to the best of your abilities. But when you're at home, actually measure it. Okay.
And when you're out at a party, usually there's a spread. And usually there's a lot of vegetables or other things that you can fill your plate with besides the starch. And if there's salads, you know, fill up on the salads. Make sure your plate is loaded with veggies. Okay.
Exactly. So that's tip number 2, portion control. You can portion control everything else too, but the starchy stuff is where, you know, we really got to focus, because when we load up on the potatoes and the pasta, whew, down the spiral of weight gain we go. Okay, so tip number 3, I just actually noticed we both have matching coffee mugs today with our tops.
Oh, isn't that cool? There you go.
Not planned. So tip number 3 for you today, speaking of drinks,
Don't drink your calorie intake
away for the day.
That's right. And like, I mean, that can happen so easy. And just so you know, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. I like my coffee black, so I don't have to worry about that. But some people like their coffee half cream and half sugar. Well, that's a lot of extra calories for your day if you're trying to lose weight.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention all of the holiday drinks that come along our way, right?
And they're so catchy. And it's like, oh, I love that spice. I love that flavor. I love.
Yeah. And so it's the coffees, it's the hot chocolates, it's the apple ciders, it's the alcohol, it's the,
Oh my,
like there's so much, right? Like mulled cider, like, oh my goodness, my mouth is watering already because we love those things too.
That's right.
Right. And it's not to say that you cannot have some, but some is different than lots. Some is different than every day.
That's right.
Because we talk lots here about moderation. And, you know, if you're going for your sugar laden drink at Starbucks or your favorite coffee shop every day,
there's like 1,000 calories in one of those drinks.
And way more than your 25 to 30 grams of sugar, depending on what you're having there.
Oh yeah. It's about 50 to 70
Yeah, like
grams
it's
of sugar.
nuts in one drink. Okay. And so like, if you go have that every day, you will not lose weight over the holidays. We can tell you that right now.
You will go, I gained 5 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's lots of things that you can do to still enjoy a drink, but not overdo it. Okay. So what can they do? First, you can, like, if you're going to go have one and say, you know, today I'm going to go have my peppermint mocha or whatever it's going to be, like cut back on the amount of syrups that they're putting in, right? Have it half sweet, have a quarter sweet, because there's still a ton of sugar in that.
Yeah. I mean, you might think, oh, that's not going to taste good. Well, if you start now, because, you know, the holidays are coming up, try your next drink half sweet.
Yeah. Cut the whipped cream. You don't need the whipped cream.
That's right. There's different things you can do. Try, well, I don't even go for one pump. I just don't like any of it in there because after a while, your taste buds change.
They really do.
And so, yeah, start with half sweet. If you're used to full on sugar, start with half sweet and just let yourself get used to that.
That's
amount.
right.
And you'll be proud of yourself because you've cut your sugar intake in half.
Yeah, which is crazy, right? And that's what we talk lots about is we have to make baby steps. We have to create new habits that are going to be sustainable over time. And you might think that cutting your drink into half sweet is, I'm not going to do that. Well, then throw your weight loss goals out the window. Okay. Because we're here to tell you that if you're going to be doing that day in, day out, you're not going to lose the weight.
And this is all about losing weight over the holidays rather than gaining it.
Yeah.
So take these tips and use them. They will work for you.
Exactly. And let's just talk about the drinks for one more quick minute about parties and events and stuff like that too. Because what you can do at parties, here's the thing. We think, when we go to an event or a party that everybody's watching what we're doing. And if we don't take the drink, that everybody's going to be like, what's she doing? Right? Or that they're going to be watching what we take on our plates. And they're going to be going, well, why didn't she have cake? Nobody cares.
Or they're going to say, look how much she put on her plate.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
Nobody cares. Nobody's watching you. Okay? You have an obsessive focus on food, and that's why it's all you can think about. But all the other people in the room are worried about themselves, not you. Okay, we're worried about ourselves. I'm worried about me. Ruth's worried about her. You're worried about you. And so, you know what? Pass up on some of the things. Walk away from it. Say, no, thank you, and go get a glass of water or a cup of coffee. And nobody's going to notice. Or tea is a great one. Yeah. Nobody's going to notice.
No.
Unless you make a big deal about it.
That's right. Absolutely. In fact, if you have a wine glass, go put, a little bit of juice and the rest water in it, and it'll be flavored water.
Or water with lemon. I'm sure. And if there's no lemon, ask for some lemon from one of the service staff. There's things you can do.
Because not everyone indulges in alcohol.
Yes, exactly. Or even if it's the hot chocolate, you don't have to have the hot chocolate.
No. You can have a hot cup of steaming tea and enjoy it.
Exactly.
Because you're losing weight over the holidays.
Exactly. So let's do a quick recap on our 3 tips. First, monitor your sugar. 25 to 30 grams is it per day. Okay.
If you want to lose weight. Tip number 2 is portion control. Remember, it's like a half a cup of starch per meal.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't eliminate the potatoes. We don't say you can't have bread. Have one thin slice of bread.
Exactly. And the third one, don't drink your whole day's worth of calories away with one drink. In fact, don't drink all those calories at all because it's just not good for us.
And most importantly, this is about our health. We want to be around so that we can enjoy our life. So let's take charge of our health and reclaim our health over the holidays.
And not only that, we always like to say, we're called to honor and steward our bodies, and overindulging is not doing that. No. So this is our bonus tip. Don't use the holidays. Don't use, it's the holidays as your excuse to live in behaviors that are not good for you.
Yeah, because the Bible says treat your body like a temple. Exactly. What does that even mean? It does not mean to overindulge. The Bible also talks about gluttony. That's overindulgence. And we're not called to do that. In fact, it's the opposite. We are called not to do that. So over the holidays, let's not do it.
Exactly. Don't use that as your excuse. And so really the last thing that we wanted to share with you today is that we have an awesome 5-step decision-making guide for weight loss that, if you actually want to lose weight, the 5 steps, they will really, truly help you through the journey. And it's a free download that we've got for you. It's got really awesome information, and you can grab your copy at shouldiEatThat.com.
That's how easy it is.
Yeah.
shouldiEatThat.com.
We will link it in the description below for you. And you know what? Go download it and then print it off and look at it regularly and get those questions in your head. And before you know it, you are going to have lost 10 pounds over the holidays instead of gaining it.
Yeah. So we always like to end by saying this: treat your body like a temple,
not a trash can.